Welcome back. Glad you all could be here for the second half of Olympus Rises, episode hold 36, I believe. Glad you all could be here. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in with the rest of the party. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, you murderer.
I don't murder anybody. Okay, y'all are very quiet. Welcome, Black. Welcome, Black.
Hello.
Jeez.
Yes.
I am adding
you know.
consonants today to almost every word that I say. And I rhymed. I didn't even mean to.
I'm a poet and I didn't even realise it yet.
I like that. That's a good one. I like that one. So, welcome back, everybody. Glad you all could be here. I see Megan unmuted herself because she's done stuffing her face with chips and salsa.
That's funny because I just started stuffing my face with chips and salsa.
I wish I had chips and salsa right now, to be honest.
Oh, stop.
Also, I want to know how close I was, Megan.
I'm not actually eating anything.
Damn it!
But now I just want chips and salsa.
I know, me too. Why didn't I say anything? Welcome back, everybody. Glad you could be here. I think that after that moment, it is appropriate to see Dr. Fisher walking into the hotel room again, occupied by Oscar and Gogo, waiting ever so patiently for him to complete his work. And probably right as you do, Dr. Fisher, you get a brrrr on your comm pad, and you look down, and there's coordinates, and there is a set of digits and numbers, or digits and letters, I should say, and it looks like this. That's the there's coordinates and then there's that.
Oh.
You're not really trying to translate that, but if you were a normal person acquiring this information, you assume that you would.
Okay.
So I assume that Oscar and Gogo are just like staring at you as you're checking your email nonchalantly.
Nonchalantly is a strong word. Yeah, I show it to them.
Okay. So yeah, you wave your compad and be like, "Hey, look, I did a thing."
So it went well?
Apparently. This should certainly be valid information.
Okay, so what next?
Next, we have to go there.
How far?
Pretty far
Probably
north.
Take out my data slab and
Yeah.
bring up the map.
Pretty far north, and not along any roadways or assigned pathways. It's going to be a lot of overland travel to get where you need to go. Luckily, most of the planet is like tundra type terrain, so it's mostly flat. The ice sheets move around. There is some foliage, but always closer to the equator than further out. So like where you guys are now.
Hmm.
You, in fact, okay, so let me just give you some numbers, okay? If you were to walk it, it's probably a couple weeks journey. Acquiring some type of overland ground vehicle.
Snowmobile montage?
Right, yeah, like, well, I mean, you have to transport a patient, so maybe you don't want a snowmobile.
Do we? Or do we just have to
I
transport
thought
a
we were
hostage
bringing a
back?
thing back.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
if you
my
want to...
question.
Actually, yeah,
Or
no, that's a
saliva.
good question. Yeah, no, that's a good
We
idea,
don't
too,
actually
yeah.
have any plan.
Correct, yeah. If
hold
you
on,
want
and
to
what's this
find
plan?
a
We
hostage
speak-
and bring them back, then totally, yeah, that's another thing you can do. Some type of overland ground vehicle, maybe like a week's time. Now, if you find some type of, like, you know, gravcopter or fly your ship over there, a couple of hours.
We are definitely not going to be able to get our ship over there. Just saying that straight up.
What, too conspicuous, or...
I mean, you could. You could totally fly your ship over there. But I mean...
Then we get the...
Yeah, this isn't like those other planets. They have real fleets. And real defense systems that will shoot you out of the sky. For good reason.
What is our least conspicuous option? Can we get a car? Something that'll actually bring us the distance and back?
I believe that would be our best.
Is there like a spurts or?
Yeah, no, you could totally rent an off... Like, so, it's not popular, but, like, going ice climbing or camping or something. Like, again, this is not really the planet to have recreation like that, especially because of other reasons as well. It's kind of not really advertised, but also barring it completely would draw suspicion. So, like, yeah, you could probably rent a vehicle under the guise of, oh, we're gonna go snowshoeing, you know?
How do the
It's just
ice
probably like
miners-
a program that the government.
Right, so the ice
It looks
miners-
Like
the-
there's not a problem.
Yeah, right. Another thing you could do, you could be like a survey team, right? Like, that's another completely valid excuse to go out into the wilderness.
But we already registered our reason for being here as medical.
Yeah, with the guards.
Jordan, I swear to God, if that comes back to bite us and we do this,
Again,
I'm
again,
gonna
this is,
remember that
I'm
you
just,
said that.
I'm just saying. I'm throwing ideas at you guys, just in case you are at a loss for them.
No, but my
I don't think
question was
we're at a
that-
loss. I just don't think there are any good options.
Man,
We're
that
trying
sucks when
to
that happens,
narrow
right?
Down.
Sucks
We're
when you have
trying to
hard
narrow
choices.
down our potential avenues.
Okay. So how's that conversation go? And also, Fortune, at any point you can re-enter the conversation or continue doing whatever you want to do. Like I said, I think you were kind of on the I'm going to not get involved. So maybe you don't,
Yeah.
but you know, what I'm saying is I'm not sure they would stop their conversation if you re-enter the room, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And you said it's been a couple of hours already?
yeah, it's been about 2 hours since Fisher. Yeah, and you saw, like, you're in the area, right? You probably saw Fisher return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd probably head back to the hotel room in about another hour.
Yeah. So what are you guys talking about in there? What's the bookkeeping look like? Also, those chips sound delicious and crunchy.
Look, the best way to remain under suspicion is to keep to the land as much as possible. But it would take closer to a month to walk that distance, so a week of land vehicle travel would probably be our best bet.
If it's that far, do we bring Chan or not?
If we don't, then we would need to leave somebody here and make 4 trips instead of 2.
And that's probably exactly when I walk in.
Yeah, appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is the recreation cover story kind of goes out the window if we have a body in the back. Would you not agree?
I'm sure we could procure the. I'm sure we could procure the vehicles and then load him onto them at another time.
What I mean is, if we're stopped en route, going to the middle of nowhere with a body, people may start asking questions.
Yes, but I highly doubt we will meet many, if at all, people on this route.
By the same reasoning, that means we stick out like a sore thumb.
Indeed.
Not disagreeing, but
it is a
could go south fast.
What part of any of this could not go south fast?
We are on an even keel thus far, Fisher. All according to plan, no?
You guys, perhaps, but I'm certainly on thin ice as it is. But you are correct, we are not in any danger as of this moment, as we know. Did you like that? I thought that was
Okay.
good.
You can delete the meta hysterical laughter from the YouTube clip. That'll be fine.
Yeah, and I'll just edit the video because I've totally done that before.
Yeah, he says, unless anyone has a better idea, I think we should get on with this. Let's get a vehicle and get moving. If there's any way to do so without drawing more attention than we may have already by contacting the broker, all ears.
There's a motorcycle in the truck and the ship.
I can attest that just going over sand dunes on it wasn't the best, so I don't think going through feet of snow would be the best.
Well, to be honest, just because you're bad at driving one doesn't mean everyone is. Sandman. Wow, Jordan.
Typing is hard.
The Sandman. Come back.
I'm trying to do it without making awful noise in the microphone, but since the microphone is literally right over the keyboard, it's almost impossible. Making corrections is hard.
So yeah, well, let's let Gogo do the driving this time. Not that I don't want to see another spectacle like that, but
Oh, you do have a racing pod thing, and
there's a time and place.
I don't know that I ever procured that, actually.
Nope.
We didn't.
You did not go pick that up.
Never mind.
We were on the
came
planet
a
to go pick
real
that up.
long
We
way
kind of
without
had
that.
an attack.
Yeah, we were on the planet to pick that up, and then
snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
that's good.
So, where do we go get this thing?
I mean, again, spurts or
Okay.
Spational.
Somebody other than me has to do that. Just saying.
Go-Go's got it.
Okay.
Like,
So go. What type
I
of
just
vehicle are
mean-
you looking for? So there's the full selection grav, wheeled, tracked. You can rent pretty much everything because the rental agencies, it's not like you're renting a rental car to go drive around and do business. Like this company on the planet, which I don't know have their name, they're Spurts now. They probably rent all kinds of machinery, right? Like all the way from like equipment for ice miners all the way down to the rental car scenario. So you can get
Is there,
kind
like-
of whatever you want.
Is there like an equivalent to an SUV grab vehicle?
Yeah, so totally. There's a grav truck.
Perfect.
Yeah, that can totally just be an SUV instead of a pickup truck or something like that.
It'd be a
Absolutely.
Grav Hummer.
Yeah, grav Hummer. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. you can
somehow
totally
it still
go with those.
manages to be like a major pollutant, despite being.
Yeah, it uses. It takes like an extra
Um,
engine to keep it aloft because
Yeah.
it's so heavy and brutal.
And a billion years later.
Yep.
Anywho. Yeah. So
Okay, so you're looking for a grav SUV. Yeah, that's no problem.
do you give me my money back, by the way, Fisher?
I mean, I think we can just.
What's left of it?
Pretend it's an equal pool of money now, or
So
yeah, text each other. And
you
we'll-
know that it'll take about a week to get there? How long do you rent the vehicle for?
Well, we need it to get back.
Yeah.
So 2.5 weeks.
All right, cool. Where is that stupid? There it is.
Yeah, I think I would also at some point purchase a couple more systems.
How much did it cost you to get that info? I forget.
It was
2,000?
4,000.
4,000?
Yep. It was
I mean,
expensive.
there's $3,000 left of your original money.
Okay.
Okay, so it's actually not that expensive. It's 340 credits to rent the grav vehicle for that day.
That day?
Or I'm sorry,
Or
not that
that
day.
amount of
That
time?
that amount of time. That's what I meant. Not that day.
Jesus.
I was gonna
Okay.
say,
not-
yeah,
it's not
that is
$300
expensive.
a day?
No. It's
Fuck.
only 20 a day.
Okay, so 300 for that amount.
Yeah, a baseline
Holy
vehicle is
shit.
like a baseline vehicle is
You
15
had
per
to get
day.
the Hummer.
But yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, you got the SUV option, as we all know is more
You
expensive.
chose this.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's 340
Paid.
total credits for 2.5 weeks,
Paid for.
which gives you like a 4-day grace period because you could return it, before they open
Within
in the
that
morning.
amount of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before they open in the morning, and that gives you an extra day.
Okay. Okay.
What color is it?
Go
I'm
would have
I'm
paid for it. It's white, obviously.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so you pull up back and it's just and it kind of like very lightly descends to the ground, outside of the motel that you're at.
Yeah, as I said, at some point I would have purchased a few more systems. So, just to give us a bit of a grace period in the travel.
Okay. Absolutely. And they're readily available on this, so
Yeah.
just
I'm not buying
pay standard
50,
price.
So
Yeah.
it's fine.
And while someone was out purchasing that vehicle, I would have liked to have spoken to Oscar.
Okay, yeah. So, Dr. Fisher's, maybe you're out purchasing stims or
Yeah.
doing something, and the two of you are
probably-
back.
Reasonably, if we're preparing, I think I would have gone out to buy supplies, like food, rations.
Right, sure, yeah,
stuff
totally.
like that.
Totally,
So
because
I
this
think
this
that's
might be a
probably
moment
where
where
that-
I say, hey,
Yeah, figure your shit out
Yeah,
because
figure your
you're
shit
going
out.
on a trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, reasonably, Fortune could tag along with that, and that's where that conversation would happen.
Yeah. I was like, so there's a contract out for you.
Just like
You
casual,
don't
like
say.
looking at rations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way,
In the aisle of the grocery store.
totally. Nobody's listening to you there.
Is this in the... And he looks at his compad. He says, is this in the 28 hours since I asked you previously? Or are we just coming around to that now?
I was working on solutions.
I have some history with solutions.
Yeah.
Might have
the
been
one-
good to fill me in earlier, but
Well,
please.
it's from Paphos. They want you and Dr. Fisher and
Boomer.
Boomer. Yeah.
Maybe they can tell us where Boomer went off to then.
I would probably say Boomer's pretty good at hiding. I'm just gonna leave him out of this.
It was a joke.
I know.
Fortune.
I'm not sure Fortune's joking. Sorry. There's a random alley
Who
cat.
all was mentioned by name?
Those three. And then I was listed as a known contact.
What's that mean in Claris terms for you?
Someone to extort information from.
Well, how much are we worth to you, Fortune?
Oh, you don't have to worry about me giving up information on you. Because if I did, then it would come back that I was there, and
Is that to say we are worthless or priceless?
yes.
Good. Well,
So at the
do you
moment,
have any idea how long this contract has been active?
no. A minimum of 2 days.
You all move pretty quick.
Well, recall
long
how
as there's no-
information travels, right?
Yeah.
It's technically been, since that incident, almost 3 months.
Yeah. Like at the moment, I have nothing to do. I can't think of anything to do here that would help us not die. Other than watch your back. But that doesn't really help much.
Other than abandoning the task at hand, which
Actually, I think it would be
against
better.
better reason.
I think it would actually be better to stay on task at hand. Whatever the hell that is.
La la la, I don't know.
Yeah. If we let on that we know something's going on, then
As you say that, he's like looking extra close at the ingredients on the package of rations and like talking at it.
You've been staring at the same like package of cookies for like
He's like flipped it over
for
once
like
or twice.
3 minutes. Yeah, totally.
He's like, squeezing different packages.
yeah, it may force someone to take action sooner. If, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe we're being watched through a scope somewhere.
Right.
That would be a shame, wouldn't it?
Yes. So the only thing I can come up with is you guys do your thing as planned, and I'll watch and see if anybody's canvassing areas that you have been or people you've talked to, and see if I can't see if someone's tailing us already.
Is that to say that you're going to tag along, or that
No,
you're
that's
going to
to say
hold back a day.
I'm staying here to see if anyone checks on where we've been.
Makes sense. Should we kick up some dust before we go?
No.
Never know. Might draw the. It might be helpful to draw attention someplace that you're aware of.
I would say
to
maybe just
start
on your way out of the hotel, just say, "Hey, we're leaving now to this place, and we'll be back." That would be plenty.
Hmm.
Maybe not to where, but at least say you're going and you'll be back.
You haven't told the others, have you?
Hold on a minute, real quick.
Crinkle, crinkle.
Sorry,
Package of
sorry.
Cookies.
What was the question again?
He said you haven't told the others yet, have you?
I don't think it would help.
We're already on guard.
Yeah, there's.
I think this may push it over an edge that's not helpful.
Yeah. So at this point, if I find
there's
something,
a limit to
How much one can watch for?
yeah, there's a limit to how on one can be.
yeah, yeah. At this point, you knowing is enough. If you see something out of place, you may know what to attribute it to. I don't need all three of you looking for the same thing. But if you see something suspicious that you wouldn't have normally thought was suspicious before, now you know what to tie it to, maybe. But
Well,
if I find something, I'll let you guys know.
Fortune, I appreciate the fact that this is not necessarily your problem.
It will be eventually. It'll come out somewhere that I was on the same ship that shot a bunch of people on Paphos. So
There might be some truth in that, but
it's just a little bit.
no, if they filled the contract before that ever got out, Paphos might be satisfied.
Maybe.
You know your group better than I do, though.
Yeah. So.
Well, I will think of favors can cash in.
Yeah.
Right about now, I am more or less out of good boy points with anyone I can think to contact.
Well, I've got one person that I might be able to do something with, but I'm not holding my breath.
We should get to the task at hand, I think, but maybe reconsider what I mentioned about potential employers on Raimondi.
I'll keep that in
Never
mind.
know what aligning yourself with an established government can do.
Yeah.
Then again,
Yeah.
depends who they send after us.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
All right. So you acquire your supplies and head back, and you all arrive roughly at the same time, and there's that air of, like, you know, farewell a little bit, because Fortune's, like, standing, you know, in the doorway waving you goodbye. Is it as simple as you guys are going to drive off into the sunset? Not to put an ending on it, obviously, but
I think I don't know, unless the other guys already do so. I think at some point, like Fortune and Oscar just discussed, he goes and like makes a little noise. He goes and talks to the front desk clerk, says maybe he inquires about how likely it is that they'd be able to get a room in like a week's time.
Sure.
Maybe gives him a date. Says that they're planning to come back here.
Right,
something like concrete, and says that they're, going away briefly, but maybe he even like rents the room again in advance.
Sure, yeah.
I think that makes the most sense, rather than just talking about doing it. So,
yeah. You put a hold on your credit chip for 3 weeks time or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks time, right?
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, and probably unknowingly...
He leaves a little bit of a trail.
Right, yeah. Unknowingly, Dr. Fisher's put his name on some things here as well, right? Like, bought some systems and put his name on that lawyer's equipment. Like, anyone that is good enough will be able to locate that, probably.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably something I would like to do before they do take off, is talk to everyone else and be like, I just need you to write down everywhere you've been since you came.
Sure, yeah. So we get the scene of, like, it's, you guys are all provisioned up, your backpacks are stocked, Chan's being prepped to move, and you sit down at the table there in the room, Fortune. Mm-hmm. Who do you ask first?
I probably wouldn't ask Gogo anything at this point, because I don't know if she's going to answer anyways.
Yeah, you know where Gogo's been, right? Like, you were aware she went and got the truck.
She went to go get a truck.
Probably it. But you also know that her name's not on anything, so...
Yeah. I'd probably ask Fisher. I'd be like, hey, can you come over here for a second? At this nice little table in the corner?
Yes.
Could you just do me a favor and write down everywhere you've been since we got here?
I give a quizzical. What reason?
I like to train my information gathering skills sometimes, and just trying to see how much information I can get. So from someone else about people and things.
Obvious doubt in his eyes, but proceeds to write out where I've been. I do make a snide comment of, though I do think you, Fortune, have been to more places than me in our time we've been here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be checking up on that too. Like, but just a last piece of information. If Oscar says something strange or asks you to do something weird, just do what he says.
I think I don't have much room to argue in our current situation.
Yeah, just throwing it out there. Alright, have a nice trip, bye.
Alright, so you remove the back seat, right, of the SUV, so you can fit Chan's gurney in there, and the three of you get in. Sorry. The three of you get in. Gogo's at the helm. Dr. Fisher, you're probably riding in the back to, make sure the patient remains stable. And you guys pull out, and the grav engines whir up. And you begin to travel off into the sunset. Or it's probably about just past midday now, so you got a good day ahead of you of getting some driving.
We're chasing it.
Yeah, you're
Well,
cheesing.
no, we're going
Yeah.
north.
Yeah, you're going.
Although I don't know what the orbit, like what the axis of this planet is.
Oh
but...
God, I haven't thought about that, nor do I care. Although if you look at the picture, it looks like it is slightly tilted. If you look at the shadow of the, so maybe it's the summer solstice. So you guys head off. Fortune, when do you get to work?
Probably about maybe 6 hours after they leave.
Okay. Do you hang out the room, since like you guys have it through the day? Or do you like go out to find another quiet place?
I probably find some sort of restaurant and or something that has an outside seating across from, or somewhere where I can watch in front of the hotel.
Okay, gotcha. Just see if anybody like comes by.
Just documenting people who are coming in and out of the hotel.
Yeah, cool. In fact, there's probably... So I mentioned there was a diner at the little extended stay place. So you could, like, go in there and, like, get a table next to a window so that you could watch, like, the vehicles coming in and out and people moving in and out.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay. It's like a Johnny Rockets, basically, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
All you can eat.
All you can eat chili cheese fries, just
That
constantly.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, it actually sounds incredible. Now I want chili cheese fries and chips and salsa.
You're a monster.
And so yeah,
hungry.
you're hanging out for a bit. I'm gonna have you make a couple of rolls here.
Yeah, I figured.
First of all, just I think a straight up perception with wisdom. I think that's the most appropriate. But I also want you to make me a okay, that's pretty good.
Not terrible.
I also want you to make me a security roll with intelligence.
Okay. Thought I had. I'm going to give myself a skill point.
Okay, yeah, you want to burn a skill point to get security? Sure, absolutely.
Quality use of the in-game skill point right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I thought I had a 0 in security, but it appears I do not. And you said with intelligence?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 6 is a basic success.
6 is better than 5.
It's correct. Yes, 5 would have been a much poorer result. So as you're kind of perceiving around, there are quite a few foreigners here, which I assume is what you're kind of focusing on.
Yeah. Well,
or maybe not. I don't know. But you notice the demographic is split about 50-50, which means there are more foreigners here than locals, right?
Okay.
Or not numerically, but as far as per capita. And people of all varying walks of life. No aliens. There's no Sriek or Tan walking around. You notice there's a lot of people with like pets. There's a lot of people with like a lot of belongings that are coming into this extended stay. As I said when you guys first came here, it does appear that there are like this is a common sort of thing to happen where people will come when their loved ones are sick or dying to get them cared for, but they need to be able to stay here for like a week or two on end while they're seen in the hospitals. So people bring like a lot of stuff to kind of prepare for that. As far as the diner itself, the waitstaff is fairly helpful and nice. A lot of you notice there are no locals here. It's almost all foreigners inside of the diner, which probably says something about the quality of it. Yeah. And as you're kind of looking around, there's definitely probably a few people that, you know, maybe you like take a mental note, like, yep, okay, I'll keep an eye on that one. And again, a lot of times it's like maybe just a lone man or woman sitting at like the bar at the Johnny Rockets, right, drinking a milkshake.
Yeah.
And like just like you don't see him interact with anybody, you don't see him talk to anybody. They just come in, they drink their milkshake, and then they leave and they go back to the room immediately. Like, you know, just kind of not odd behavior, but not very personable behavior.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're there essentially for hospice care, you may not be very chatty.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of like probably where an 8 isn't quite as good as it would be normally, right? Like getting a 10 may be able to tell you whether or not they're grieving or something like that.
I'm just trying to watch for people, and then on day 2, if I see the same people, those will be of more interest. And then day 3, same people. Yeah.
Totally. For your security check, you probably begin to kind of maneuver around to see what kind of security this place has, right? Because, like, if you have to, do anything here, you want to know what the liabilities are.
Yeah.
You notice that inside the diner and in the general vicinity, there's not a whole lot of security systems in place, beyond what the normal, like, Yuri Pylosian government would put in place, which means it is a little bit high just to monitor activity, but it's all kind of relegated to the city areas, right? Like the street sign, or I'm sorry, the street lights and the traffic lights, and like there's cameras there, and maybe like a governmental building there's a camera, but the like general commercial areas, it doesn't seem to be a whole lot of coverage. And as far as like, let's say you wanted to maybe break into somebody's room here, you don't think it would be that hard. Definitely brute force is the quickest way, but also would be identified fairly quickly. Even with what you have a 0 now in security.
I do.
Yeah, even with a 0 in security, you have an okay chance at probably breaking a digital lock here. It doesn't appear to be like super high tech. If that's a thing that you needed to do. So that's your, I think, 2 rolls for that.
Cool.
So
and then I'd probably head back to the hotel at that point for checkout.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you head back over to like the lobby office, and
the last thing I do before I leave the room is I completely shave my beard and I cut my hair.
Yeah, you shave it all down. You go back to sexy Fortune minus the clothing.
No, I go to no beard and very short hair.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
Like, not even the same person.
I was waiting for the tactical haircut to come into play.
Yeah, every now and then. So yeah, you get the tack cut and shave the beard, and you grab your stuff and you head out. Now, where do you go?
I just go down to the counter and kind of like leave the key card or key or whatever. Say, hey, checking out of this room, bye. And just say, charge it to the card on file or whatever you have.
Right, yeah, totally. It's probably prepaid at a place like this.
Yeah. And I don't even say anything other than that, and I just walk out of the hotel.
Okay, yeah, cool. So where do you go after that? Do you go, like, find another place, or...?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you go... Go ahead.
I go find another hotel, and I walk in, and I'm like, hi, I was just flew in, and I was wondering if you had any vacancy.
Yeah, so you go to like an actual hotel, and the receptionist is very nice, and he's like, yes, we certainly can assist you, Mr.
George.
Yes, Mr. Carlin.
I was going to say Thorogood, but sure.
Mr. Thorogood. It's a pleasure. And so my next question is, do you have an alias?
No.
Okay. Would you like to have made one or had one made?
No.
Okay. Because generally you have to like proffer an identification.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
To get a room is why I'm asking.
Well, actually, thinking, I probably would have a couple of aliases.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm kind of giving it to you to have a couple of aliases because of your line of work.
Yeah, I probably would.
Okay. So I'm going to roll a 2d6 here, because these are assigned to you, right? They're not like they're not ones you've probably proffered yourself. If you want that, then I'll make you roll for it, but instead I'll roll for it. So it's a pretty good alias. It's not burned currently, and that's probably what gives that little bit of extra oomph. So yeah, you hand over the Thorogood alias, and it's write this actually down in your inventory.
Okay.
Write down level 0 alias. Wait, George Thorogood? Yeah.
Yeah.
Write down level 0 alias George Thorogood. This is actually a mechanic from one of the books to actually have aliases and stuff.
Hologram.
Exactly. So cool. You have that now.
Yeah.
So you check into the room and everything is fine, and you get up there and you, I assume, unpack very little, only what you need, so that you can be ready to go at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So over the next couple of days, give me just like a brief rundown of Fortune's activities.
I'd go through back to the rental agency, pretty much asking, have you seen this girl? And then if say yes, I'd be like, do you know if anybody else has asked about her? Kind of thing. Or maybe not even that, but just see if anybody else, if they mention, oh yeah, someone else came asking about her too.
Right, you just kind of leave the question open-ended.
Yeah.
Sure.
I wouldn't go back to the hotel yet. And then probably to wherever Dr. Fisher purchased his systems from.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah,
Because
Dr. Fisher,
there's
you've...
documentation there.
Yeah, to clarify, there are two places you went, basically, right? Dr. Fisher, you went to the law offices, and you went to buy the systems, and that was basically it. Okay, yeah. So you go to where you bought the systems, because, yeah, in order to purchase things like that, you need to sign a ledger and authorize... oh, don't worry, I'll let you know. I guess you're asking Gogo. Because I don't think anyone else has control of the radio. For an extended period of time.
It probably whatever Chan listened to is probably what's on the radio.
Anyway, you go back to the
probably whatever Go.
Yeah, so go ahead and make me a couple checks here, Fortune. What do I want you to make me? I think one of them is going to be a let's see. I want one to be a and this is going to sound weird. I want one to be a tech med check with intelligence.
Yeah, you cut out there. What was that?
Tech med check with intelligence.
Tech med.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I want the other one to be a persuasion check with charisma. Wow, that's a really good roll for you.
Yeah, especially because it's -0 or -1 and 0.
Yep.
And the persuade?
Yeah, with charisma.
Charisma.
Good. So when you go to ask about Gogo, the woman behind the counter at the car dealership, she's like, "Oh yes, I remember her quite well. She came and rented the SUV, the Grav SUV, yes? Yes, she's
sure.
Lovely girl, although it's a shame about whatever she's going through. I could tell she was quite distraught when she came in."
Interesting. Do you remember anything else weird happening about her in the last couple of days?
No, I don't think that I know anything about her besides when she came in, of course. She seemed to become a little bit excited when she get behind the wheel, which some of our models definitely can send feelings of elation through one's body.
And
Too much.
all right. I see you like your vehicles. Has anybody else asked about her?
Not that I can recall.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay. And you head off to the, maybe like the next day. You go to the system location, and the tech med check was to get through the jargon to understand what they were saying and what we were asking for. And so you get in there and you introduce yourself, and do you say like who you are? Because asking at the car dealership is different than asking at this location, right? Like somebody asking for logs here they're going to be like, are you from the IRS? Like,
I'd probably say I'm just trying to figure out the whereabouts of this person. He was reported missing. And I've heard this was his home planet, so I'm just checking to see if anybody's seen or heard from him lately.
Cool. Yeah. So you go the I'm a detective on the beat, right? Like on the case of finding this guy. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you successfully convinced them once you explain that to them, and they're like, oh yes, no problem. And they show you like, yes, it seems that Dr. Fisher came in approximately 4 days ago and purchased. How much did you purchase?
6.
He purchased, it seems, 6 units of the cyst stim. Interesting. That's designed to keep someone in stasis for up to 12 hours, from what I understand. Seems like he was in quite a rush.
Interesting. And just because this is a missing persons case, has anybody else asked about him?
Well, now that you mention it, there was another individual in here. He presented us with some documentation that requisitioned our logs, but I don't know if he was specifically looking for this individual.
Oh, that's fine. And anything helps. Would you just be able to describe him, or maybe if he did leave a name, anybody who may have?
Yeah, he's kind of like looks and he's like, that's kind of hard. He was, well, he had very bulky clothing on. There was 2 things that I remember very vividly about him. His left eye was covered, but there was this glow behind it. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but being in the field that I am, I would suspect cybernetics of some sort. And he wore this garish, broad-rimmed hat made out of some material. It didn't look particularly effective at doing its job, however.
So, maybe glowing eye, possibly cybernetics, and yet a hat. All right, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yes, no problem at all.
And I leave.
Okay, yeah. So you walk out. Now, during the time you're not doing detective work, what are you spending your downtime with?
Watching the hotel.
Okay, yeah. So just basically
more
staking
detective
out,
work.
Right? Yeah, just staking out the whole time. Okay, cool.
And now that I have this information, I'm
you have
particularly looking for something like that.
Sure, absolutely. So let's jump for a moment over to our other